Welcome back, everybody, to the North American Qualifier, the best qualifier, especially since our group stage has been so incredibly interesting with a young upstart team of Freedom coming in and doing a whole lot of work. They are actually just this one game away from being able to be first place in their group and heading to TI. Jack, what do you think about that? That's crazy, right? Freedom, like everyone is like, oh, Planet Odd or NP for sure, top two. They're going to TI. One of those two teams is getting first place. And nobody, some people would have said Digital Chaos, right? Others, I don't even know what they would have pointed, but Team Freedom, right? Nobody would have really said these guys with strength of conviction for first place in their group and heading to TI first.
Yeah, I like, as usual, the good cap intro there coming out to set the stakes here. Yeah, like you look at this Freedom roster, you look at the players, right, and you kind of maybe think to yourself, oh, it's one of those NA also ran type of stacks, right? Like those players who are in that NA maybe tier 2, they make a run at the qualifiers each time. They're playing till the very end, but they don't actually beat the ultimate tier 1 teams. But now they have a legitimate chance. It's simple for them. Win and you're in. Win right here and you're going straight to TI up against Planet Odd. And if you look at the players of this team, so some familiar names, some FDL players, Stan King and CCNC. You've got Francis Lee, who's been around the scene in different teams. You've got Yawar, who's actually going up against, well, Planet Odd used to be DC, right? And Yawar was on that DC squad. This was a while ago, I guess. We're really digging into the history books here. And Snaking as well, who's also been at I believe he's been at TI, and he's been around the scene for a long time, too.
Old Team Dignitas, yep, Snaking.
Yep, and they're going up against Planet Odd. So, once again, what's at stake here with this match? If Freedom wins, they go straight to TI. They take the NA direct invite spot, and they go straight to TI. If Planet Odd wins this game, then it puts NP as the only team with one loss, and they would have to finish and win their last game to get that direct spot. So,
which I believe is versus Digital Chaos.
All right, so not an easy game for them by any means. But if you're NP, because you don't have the tiebreaker with Freedom, you're hoping for Freedom to take a loss here, because they do have, if they do lose, they do have a tiebreaker with Planet Odd. So, yeah, a lot at stake for this game. A lot of pressure on them for sure.
Starting out, first pick, Night Stalker. Oh, a Phoenix. That is definitely interesting. We start with the Night Stalker, follow up Sand King Disruptor. So, like, Disruptor is already kind of different, I would say, from coming out from Team Freedom. Controlling hero, teamfight hero, we'll get into that. But Phoenix, then the response from Planet Odd, another big teamfight hero for sure. And a hero that hasn't really been picked too often, despite our... Like, we're definitely looking at a whole lot of mid-game team fighting. It feels like Phoenix would be good for that, but his laning phase is pretty lackluster, right?
Yeah, he's had some recent buffs as well. And there was a period of time, I think OG were picking him early, and some other teams were favoring this. But then he really seemed to fall off or not catch on fire, I guess, beyond that. And as you mentioned, the laning phase...
Was that a pun?
Yes.
Catch on fire? High five, Jack. I didn't even notice that one at first. Well played, sir.
It's possible to make the whole fire squad, actually, but that's a different story. We won't go off into the tangent now. Yeah, it's an interesting pickup. And then also, you think about Disruptors, usually like seen as a fairly good hero against the Phoenix. At least you're able to bring him back or force him to egg at a place or a position that he doesn't want to, just a threat to kill him. And the silence, of course, is good against him. So, but that's probably later on in the game. So we'll have to see how that Phoenix gets leveraged in this game.
Yeah, this feels like a game that is going to come down to, like, one hell of a clash. Our drafting styles, like, I was just doing a little bit of Southeast Asia. I was watching that first game of Fnatic versus Execration while we waited for this game, and their drafting style was very different. They actually started out with a lot of mids picked up in the 1-2, but NA, we seem to have a very established meta. We're going to go look for our 4 and 5 position first thing. Maybe the occasional offlaner or something like that, but we see this back-to-back, right? Night Stalker for Sand King, Phoenix for Disruptor, and there is another thing. The team that has second pick almost always is grabbing Lina. Going into the second phase, usually going to be left out, one of the best mids out there, and it is one of the few mids that can't really be counterpicked.
Yeah, she does well in most matchups. And then also looking at the first pick from the Night Stalker, this is a hero that's seen in some ways as an answer to Sand King. Like obviously, eventually with the vision, with one of the few heroes that Sand King can't really bully early on, runs into as a support. And then with that excellent vision later on and the silence also being useful against Disruptor, they have to worry constantly about the Night Stalker running them down, these two supports. So that gives them a bit of an early edge as well with those first few levels too, if he is very active and able to get some momentum going on the Brome.
Have you seen, who am I talking to? You're a big Dota fiend. What do you think about the mid-Weehaw Quaswex Maelstrom Invoker?
I was gonna say, as long as I don't know if it's gonna end up being one of those Alacrity Vanguard Maelstrom like that one.
You don't think so?
Talking about. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it'll go that direction. I haven't seen him play that in a while. Has he been?
Yeah, we saw a game yesterday where he played it. Yeah. But I'm glad you remember it from the old days, because we saw that it was just like, oh, like this is harkening back like way back to when he was trying to do this the first time around.
Look, I always remember Fear saying, if I see this in my pubs, I'm reporting. I'm reporting you.
And he did it this qualifier. It actually owned. Tornado was, that's the thing. It was versus this matchup too. The Tornado against the Lina is incredibly good setup, right? Because this Lina, she is many, many things. We've gone over all the various things that Lina does for you, but she is one of the very few weaknesses that she has is that she does no escape mechanism. She doesn't stand up to direct pressure. So the Tornado actually allows you to be able to close that gap. You get the Tornado immediately, then you've got the EMP when she lands. The supports are there on top of you by the time she comes back down, and then you even have the Cold Snap for the chase. So it's this exact same matchup that we're talking about as well. Freedom actually go for the Lycan here, but going to be kind of, I would say, counterpicked by the Sven, who is a similar vein of carry, but is, I would say, the superior in almost every way. It's just Lycan gives you that global howl as well as the earlier pushing power.
I got to give you a lot of credit over there, because that was the excellent Veggies player analysis that you were putting out there with the gap close. Like, that Lina doesn't like heroes being in her face, being on top of her, and that's kind of what the Invoker is able to do. That's what the Night Stalker is able to do as well. Even Sven can, usually you could see it being a good combo with Lina, but she can absorb quite a bit of punishment as well. Like, usually one round of spells won't be enough to bring him down. But then you do see the Lycan as well, as you mentioned, with that Howl. With their lineup looking a little bit squishy at times or being run at, the Howl can very well make up for that in a small skirmish. Yeah,
absolutely. This is actually going to make the Lina a lot more deadly when it comes to the auto attacks, right? We don't normally talk about Lina as a right-click hero until past like 35, 40 minutes, where you already have the Shadow Blade and you go for the damage item, right? But now, like, this Lina could actually be both a magical and physical damage threat relatively early on, thanks to this buff.
Yeah, the Disruptor, you see it paired fairly frequently with Lycan, obviously, like being able to lock someone in place and just run them down. And in addition, like, the Lycan obviously also gives them some early push potential. Like, if they're able to snowball out of lanes, they can start taking objectives very quickly and take that Roche quickly as well. So.
All right, well, Team Freedom do have the big advantage of the last pick, which they can go ahead and grab a different offlaner for themselves. We're presuming Sand King's 4 position, as that's what he's been run almost the whole entire qualifier. Planet Odd do have... I mean, I think that this is... Why do you think they picked up Lycan 4th pick instead of their offlaner? Is there really an offlaner that changes the game that dramatically?
Well, Odd might think so, because they've been banning out offlaners for the last... 4 bans.
Yeah, they've been
the first one. So.
Yeah, Darkseer Puck, and then now the Omni Knight. I think the Omni Knight would have been great. I would agree with that ban, but seeing what's left, Clockwork. So you know, we have the mixing of 3 and 4 position now. We've seen this before, where we're gonna call the Clockwork the 3 position and the Night Stalker 4 position most likely. But what we're really gonna see is the Night Stalker will sit in his off lane. To start, then he roams during nighttime. Clockwork takes over that lane, and we sort of have a muddling of the roles here.
I think it's a nice choice here from Odd, because I think we could see again a repeat of that, sending a strong duo lane down there. The Lycan is not really that threatening early on. The Disruptor is also not very threatening early on. So these two should have a good time staying there. Like, they might have to be able to keep the Sand King home. At the very least, they'll be able to get up some levels. And that Night Stalker, when that first night comes at 4 minutes, you want to be at least level 3, generally speaking. So if you can reliably soak up lane experience or maybe get a kill or 2, that's a good way to do that. Or if you can secure bounty runes as well.
So what the hell do Team Freedom pick up if the Omni Knight is not available? No Bat Rider. You need like a strong initiator, which, I mean, you have the Sand King, but
I don't know if they'd consider something that we haven't seen too much of. Maybe a Centaur or something like that if you're looking for a strong initiator here. Maybe even a Slardar who has some natural synergy with some of these heroes and makes them that much easier to kill, especially for the Lycan who wants to be killing people in while his ultimate duration is up, especially if he's running at, say, Invoker. There is the Sven armor that kind of deals with the Slardar, but it feels like Slardar would be able to get... Oh, there's the Earthshaker, so...
Ah, yeah, Snake King special. Ah, man, it's so... why can't we have... You've seen the Captain's mode screen, right? That screen is so good. Why can't we have that?
Yeah, because you just have all the faces and the heroes there, right?
Yeah, it's so good. It looks very nice too. I wish we had that because it's very difficult to think of all the offlaners that were left in the pool. I was thinking like Legion Commander was still out there, and I was like, I don't like that versus Sven. But yeah, Earthshaker. Okay, we needed hard initiation. We needed solid lockdown versus Invoker. I think Earthshaker, it just kind of fills some of these gaps. But you don't like Earthshaker versus Night Stalker or Clockwork. You're not a big fan of it either versus Sven. Like you're happy against Invoker because you're an instant lockdown hero that does a lot of burst damage, and Invoker's kind of wily like that, right? He likes to be able to play the fights in and out. So having solid lockdown versus him is good, but the Sven, like you just don't really have the damage most of the time to burst the Sven like you would like to. So Sven always gets his turn to, you know, throw his damage back.
It feels like Clockwork is going to have a really important role and like a pretty big role in this game. Like you mentioned it with the Earthshaker, he definitely doesn't like to get cogged in by Clockwork or hooked onto. The Lycan likes to be able to run kind of freely, and maybe if you're not able to survive directly hooking into him, the fact that you can stun him, you can create terrain that takes some more time to get around. The Lina certainly doesn't like to be jumped on either, so I think the Clockwork is one of the heroes to watch for this game for sure. Like, what is Moon able to do? If he's able to be that usual disruptive presence that we see him play in the offline, it could be a very tough game for Freedom.
Yeah, this is definitely I would like to see this Clockwork enabled as much as possible. And you already mentioned it, right? He's not really dealing with a tough lane. Disruptor, Lycan, not particularly threatening. Because if this Clockwork can go off, like he can solo kill the Lina, he can solo kill the Earthshaker all the time. We get later on to the game, he's, you know, obviously going to be a decent hero to lock down. Oh god, it's another one of those weird setups. Oh god. How do I get to... Oh, that's right. There's no last hit denies on this setup. I don't know how or why, but there isn't.
The early smoke wards, as usual, you see that more and more these days, but Miseries is going to overlook the small camp here, and then at the same time Sox is going top and warding the shrine. So I think, well, they drew on the map to Freedom to run around this side and look for that first blood.
Oh, the turnaround stun, but it's not good enough. He gets hit by the LSA, surrounded by the kinetic field. And I was looking to see if Soxa would feel pressured enough to level like Sunray, just to try and help the Sven survive through that first blood. But it wouldn't have done anything, and I'm glad he holds on to his skill point. So Team Freedom take the early lead here.
Yeah, but there's a trade-off. You know, they get that early kill and they'll lose a bounty rune, but in exchange for that, they get 2 wards up in spots that I don't think Freedom are aware of or expecting anytime soon. So
Moon, he's gonna zone Yawar out. Unfortunate. Uses his early mana for the battery salt, but again, will secure him the bounty rune. So 2 for 2 trade-off. Actually, do manage to get the stun here onto Soxa, who's looking to maybe steal the bounty. Should be fine though. Oh, actually felt pressured enough to level the Icarus dive.
Yeah, there's boots up on the Sand King, so he had to be a little bit cautious. Probably not going to die there, but I'll manage to skitter. Well, not skitter, fly away.
So we're going to have our classic dual lane mid. Misery's going to be playing this Night Stalker, who is already getting a lot of damage on CC&C thanks to the Cold Snap. So he is going to be very heavily pressured, and I'll tell you about this. CC&C is a fantastic mid player. Really knows how to scale well. It has a great understanding of the laning phase, but he is one of those mids that's susceptible to pressure.
Is he tilty or not tilty? But does it really affect his concentration or his ability to focus on what's important?
I think it's a little bit dependent on his team, but they're going to be able to get the kill on Weehaw, so CCNC is actually going to be very happy with his lane and the way it's going. Gets an early level 2. Weehaw's not been, I would say he's another 1v1 kind of mid laner, right? And I feel like he suffered the most out of all of Planet Odd with this kind of patch that's happening. He just seems to be not his old self.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, he hasn't looked like the old Weehaw. He hasn't looked like the Weehaw that we're used to seeing. And he's been giving up a lot of kills and deaths, like, in this current, like, dual lane type of meta. I think there's another game a couple days ago where he started 0-5. Was it against Complex or somebody else where they just kept killing him, like, consistently early on? And it was kind of like, man, this guy really doesn't seem to that used to the 2v2 environment yet.
A little bit more damage on CC, but honestly the right-click damage from a Quas Wex Invoker is not terribly threatening. So CC, I think he's had a pretty good read of the situation. He knows that he can tank a lot of this damage and not be in danger anytime soon. And he has Howl to work off of, which is always a nice little buff when the time is dire. Ooh, CC is deep under the tower here. They do have the Sand King coming in from the right-hand side. Night Stalker's also here, but it's just not enough threatening power. He can't really bring CCNC low with this double null talisman build. So Misery may actually die again. Oh, wait, never mind. We don't have the mana for the Burrow Strike. So either way, it is now 2 deaths for Weehaw. The start of Planet Odd versus Team Freedom. Yeah, and like you mentioned, like with the Quaswex build, his attack damage is pretty low compared to what you'd see from the Exhort, where he'd be up at like 70 or 80 damage. Whoa, Moon Meander managed to pick up the kill on Sand King. It's a problem. The just slight positioning error from a Disruptor against this sort of matchup is going to end up costing him big time. And a free kill like that going to put Moon Meander straight into the boots category, and it just starts getting worse and worse. He's going to have both Windlace and Boots, be able to get the Tranquils pretty soon.
Yeah, you have to wonder if there's a little bit of nerves coming out from both sides here, as Wee's able to burn the mana of CCNC. That'll give him an easier time. Both Wee's deaths and then, well...
Son of a biscuit! Top lane too. Oh my... Jack, I was doing so well on our quadcast. I was catching all the action.
For
and
120 minutes too, man.
Oh,
it just
crumbling.
broke your back.
I'm crumbling. All right, Moon Meander dies at bottom, but Snake King also dies at the top lane. And I don't think Moon Meander is going to be... Oh, he actually didn't have a TP yet, so he'll be a little bit upset. He's not walking in with any regen or TP, so he lost quite a lot of time in lane there.
That's a nice kill coming out from the Disruptor. But he still doesn't yet have boots. He's got a clarity, and I would say that unless Moon is a little too over-aggressive, he probably should not die again to this lane. And then we talked about the Night Stalker's levels. He is level 3 up at the...
Oh, get it, Misery! Oh, no!
Oh, I thought he was going to put that second point in Hunter in the Night.
I thought so, too. Yeah. If he had, he would have killed the Courier, but then he would have had 2 levels of Hunter in the Night at level 3. Man, that is... unfortunate, just one swipe away. That also cost him his really good positioning to be able to set up for a kill on Sand King. Like, they were actually, would have been able to sandwich, I think, this lane and get an easy kill on at least the support. Mid lane, dive in, Saksa. They're both going for a CCNC here as Misery's cut across, and he is donezo big time. So 4-3 now. Supports help him get his... Oh, Resolution in some serious trouble. It has to cost him an ally. It pops, brings him down to 43 damage. Oh, misses the Fisher. They didn't know exactly where he was at, so that was supposed to be the rebuttal kill for the supports dual laning, or tri-laning into the mid lane to catch CCNC. They needed to be able to get that kill on Resolution, but now it's actually Freedom who are going to be suffering big time, as Misery might even be able to... Well, never mind. Had a pretty big boost in HP there. Misery working off that Earthshaker. Man, that Howl is crazy.
Yeah, there's that Howl against the early Night Stalker aggression. He basically has to have mana for one more Void to be securing the kill on some of these heroes with the timely Howl. So nice play there from Yawar, saving his Sand King, and then No, that's the first night that we were talking about. Pretty crucial for this hero. He's level 3 right now. If he's able to get some kills, he gets say that he gets that urn early on, or maybe even gets into the Midas. And then you're talking about a fairly reliable timing for the mid-game Aghanims when he becomes this walking ward. But if he doesn't have a good first night, doesn't get many kills, then it takes a little bit longer for him to snowball and to not fall off as hard.
Going on to Resolution here, but all their physical damage, well, when it comes, they're actually being slowed down from their attack speed pretty heavily. Resolution turns and fight, but this is a bit of the problem. The Earthshaker actually has great stats. So even when you get in those situations of man fights, you don't feel comfortable actually being able to fight into this Earthshaker just because he's so tanky. Looks like that ward may have been spotted there. They saw Misery wrap across, and CCNC was actually kind of laying a trap. So we probably know, since Misery didn't actually show himself in mid lane for gank, that was a ward placement, which it is a ward that will not catch Flea here. So Weehaw may get caught out by the Tranquil Boots, but fortunately he sat just far enough back that he's okay. Snaking's really far forward here. Does manage to get the Enchant Totem hit with a Fisher follow-up. He needs this swing, and he needs it badly, but he's going to be stopped by the Hammer Stun from Resolution. He may still be able to get out, though. The Sunray's going to do a lot of damage, but the stun comes in from the side. Flea, after his minute gank attempt, has actually gone back to the top lane and might just be able to get another kill here. Caustic Finale is going to slow down Resolution, but again, Burrow Strike just not having the mana, not going to be able to do it. Back over to mid lane. CCNC is going to be slowed down by Misery. Does have the silence. Weehaw had to dodge the LSA, though, and that little bit of extra may cost him. The Tornado going to be deftly dodged by CCNC. They have the Cold Snap, though, diving underneath that tier 1 tower, and CCNC waiting, trying to get some damage out, and Weehaw threaten him away, but he can't hide in the trees. Not against Misery. He does end up dying. Back over to the top lane. Resolution managed to pick up the kill onto the Earthshaker and barely survives, as does Francis Lee. So fighting all around, and it seems like the Howl is just not quite enough to be able to win this fight, these fights over to the favor of Team Freedom, despite being able to do so earlier. Yeah,
one of those things about playing against Phoenix, when you have those fire spirits on you, everything just seems just out of your grasp. It's kind of like the Enchantress, right? Like, you're about to get the killing blow, but you just can't quite get the swing out. A couple times the big totem has been ready for the king, but he's been unable to use it because of the fire spirit slow, so it's been kind of unfortunate.
Look at this stack. They're kind of baiting Snaking into it, too. They've got the pull. Snaking doesn't want to give this one away for free, but Misery and Resolution going to do the full wraparound here. Snaking again can't get that enchant totem. All of a sudden he realizes he's surrounded. They finished off the offlaner, and I have to wonder if they're going to attempt to actually do this stack sometime soon. Because I think you can only do the stack when the Earthshaker's fully away. You can't risk it otherwise.
Yeah, they do have the Sven ult as well if they want to go ahead and clear this, but it looks like more heroes are going to be dispatched up here to potentially contest it. They do have a ward that looks over it. Well, it's not too close to it, but they should be able to see if there's stack going on. There's the ping out there from Sneaking talking about how they want to contest this stack for sure.
They're gonna try it, but see if it actually works for them. One more stack from Resolution. Gonna pull the creep wave in and probably pop God's Strength for the contest. It's not nighttime either, so we don't have that double effect of Howl to be able to contest this. That is the really cute thing. We didn't talk about that in the draft, right? But the Lycan versus the Night Stalker, we have this Howl that is more effective at nighttime, and that's what Night Stalker is making at nighttime all the time. So Howl is going to have a lot of value in this game. CCNC has actually come over from his mid lane to contest this stack and is actually taking a large amount of it. Planet Odd need to find a way to do something about this, but they can't really bring the Invoker over. They're going to try and contest with just the 3 of their heroes, but a 3 versus 4, not great at math, Jack, but I believe that's to the favor of Freedom.
I'm not so sure about that. Well, yeah, they're not going to mobilize enough to defend that stack, and Snaking's like, all right, you guys killed me a few times, but I took your stack, so I'm pretty happy with that.
And didn't really look like Weehaw got a whole lot done in the mid lane in return. Right? He didn't get a bunch of damage on that mid-tier 1 or anything like that. Fortunately, he's not going to be caught by the smoke rotation, or at least not yet anyway. They did get a successful scan on this. So Moon Meander's going to play right up here. Perfect for breaking smokes if they cut across, because he's sitting on high ground. He's also sitting next to a shrine. And in general, just a hard area for them to invade against some of this AoE.
Yeah, and if you're noticing the smaller details here, I think CCNC may well have revealed that smoke because his Dragon Slave came out of the smoke.
Yeah.
So if Weehaw was paying attention, he'd see, oh, well, you know, obviously they were smoked. Why would she be smoked by herself to come back and nuke the wave? There's got to be people behind looking to make a play. So kind of a small detailed thing there. Maybe if she'd waited a little bit or come from the trees, say, so it would look like she's emerging from fog instead of from smoke, would have given that away not as much.
Now, Flea did manage to pick up a Invis rune with that smoke, but still doesn't look like he's really going to be able to do much with it. He's just soaking the experience from Sven, clearing through a duo stack. Lycan is off to the jungle, has abandoned his lane, and probably for the best. Now the Clockwork is level 6 and is staying in lane. That's one of the things. Clockwork, if he's not rotating out, there's probably a reason. Right, it's probably because he feels comfortable pressuring the safe laner, wants to be able to get those kills, and simple rotation of one support would set that up.
Yeah, that fast blade mail on the Clockwork, once again, who wants to get in your face, one of the key targets being Lina, is that Lina doesn't feel good unloading a full complement of spells into the blade mail. It basically would give solo kill potential. So it's the blade mail isn't talked about too much in this sense, but it's also kind of a tempo item in the sense that if you're playing against squishy heroes or bursty heroes, they kind of have to wait for your blade mail to be done or the threat of it.
Oh, the trade-off of safe lane towers, but they don't expect the extra hero in mid. They go for CC&C, but actually they're not going to be able to do it here. Just not enough damage. LSA is going to miss. You do manage to get away with the Phoenix, but there is still, everyone is taking their safe lane towers, and everyone's now wrapping onto the mid lane. Planet on from the right-hand side, going through the enemy jungle. Successful Radiant scan catch there onto the Phoenix as he placed the ward behind the tier 1 tower. I bet they even know exactly what he was doing there. They're actually going to try and give the space to Flea to keep farming, going for that Blink Dagger, but as a result, they may not have the numbers to be able to defend this push.
Yeah, they managed to get that ward. Flea's still pretty far from his Blink, and I'm not sure if this is a position they want to be fighting in, but it is going to buy Rezo some space to maybe clear some Ancients.
What do you think about this? It seems like they're almost putting Snaking in the back seat since Flea has actually got a faster progression in gold. Not necessarily net worth-wise, but just current holding gold. Sand King looks to be closer to his Blink.
I'm not sure if this might be the consideration, but I feel like because of the position he's playing and how relatively less durable he is, the Sand King maybe needs to Blink a little bit more to be able to get off his spells in the fight. Like for the Earthshaker, it feels like you can dump a whole round of spells on him and he'll still be standing, and he's going to have more reliable farm going forward anyway.
Moonmeander caught Sand King, will manage to get the glimpse down. He also throws down his Static Storm, but is going to be stuck inside the cogs against the Sunray. So quick and easy pick for Planet Odd as they maintain control of the Radiant jungle. And there it is, phase boots into the Maelstrom for our Invoker. So the full right-click build approaches. This is going to be Invoker that I think we've talked about Invoker a lot, and we say like this hero just isn't really fast enough. He doesn't wave clear, so he doesn't take advantage of the extra creeps in mid. It's a pretty fast tempo game most of the time, so his slower pace doesn't really fit it. But this build is very different. With the Quaswex, you actually do manage to contest creeps pretty well and also go for kills. And then with this Maelstrom, you actually are a fighting core, just like the Lina.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've seen a lot of heroes kind of fill that sniper role out of the mid.
Yeah.
You see, like, whether it's been the Venomancer we saw with, like, the Dragonlance Maelstrom build. Obviously, the Lone Druid for a little bit when he was in his sniper phase before he outgrew it. And then now with the Invoker as well. Well, mostly from Weehaw, but we've kind of seen that role being duplicated in a sense. With the difference being, of course, the Invoker has more spells to protect himself, whether it's escape or for initiation or for getting in there. So it's an interesting choice on playing this role on this hero, and kind of speaks to the versatility of the hero in a sense.
Smoke wrap up. I think they're trying to catch the Sven while he's farming jungle, but Sven's most of the time, I think Sven really likes Dire Side for the fact that he does play so well in this trio of camps. You've talked about this, Jack, when you like the jungle Venomancer for this exact same reason. High ground, 2 camps, and then a 3rd ancient camp, close proximity. Oh, leading Fisher, they are going to be able to jump on a Weehaw here, blow him up nice and quick, and they've surrounded the mid tower, which is a huge bounty as well. It doesn't look like Planet Odd can contest this, so they just have to give it up.
Yeah, the Radiant camps are a little bit less efficient. Like for the Western camp, you don't really have easy access to the Ancients. You have to walk all the way up the hill, and then everything's uphill from there when you're down clearing it. So it makes you a little bit more vulnerable to rotations and ganks. Contrary to that, for the Dire on their east side Rune camp, they have 3 camps basically right next to each other, so it's super efficient. And that's also another triangle like that near the shrine. So in terms of the Sven and having better efficiency or maybe safety, because it's high ground on the Dire side instead of on the Radiant side where it's low ground, that seems to be a bit better choice for him.
We have yet to see a big teamfight attempt out of Planet Odd. Now, they have Invoker, they have Sven. They're okay with pushing this late game and everything. I'm just a little bit surprised that they haven't found the opportunity to go for a supernova just yet. Just because it feels like that ability, when set up by like Clockwork or somebody, is kind of like a free 1, maybe 2 kills, or maybe even a full team fight.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things where, like, your ult is up, you can get a core kill. Like, whether it's holding the Lycan in place, whether it's Alina, who is not a particularly durable hero. It feels like they have a number of high-value targets that they could go on, maybe another +1, while the Invoker either joins in or the Invoker farms together with the Sven. Instead, they're kind of reactive and kind of seem to be waiting for the initiation to come after a more aggressive early lane phase.
Oh, the jump in. They're going to reveal their double blinks here. They're going to be able to get the jump onto Resolution. The follow-up Fissure is going to be able to hit the Night Stalker as well, but the back line, they do manage to get the Clockwork in on top of CCNC, but with the Eul Scepter, can he buy the space? The Glimpse will buy it for him for sure. Yuar comes in for the extra kill, and 3 big pickups for Team Freedom, the most important being Resolution's Sven. Jump forward, and a Fissure is going to completely whiff out on the remaining 2 members of Planet Odd.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. If you're there waiting for things to happen, you talk about the stun lock, like basically permanent stun lock, quite possible from Team Freedom. They have methods of counter-initiating or stopping the help from coming in and doing anything. So if you're on the back foot and you're giving up the initiative and tempo to Freedom, then you better have extremely good map vision. Barring that, you can expect to see these kinds of pickoffs.
Oh, Planet Odd, they didn't expect this. They thought it was just going to be a pickoff. Instead, it's going to turn into 5 heroes here from Team Freedom. They had no idea this is coming. They positioned themselves. They said, hey, they just rotated all these heroes up to the top lane. Let's go ahead. They're going to have to deal with the bottom lane, or they're going to have to deal with mid. They're going to want to be able to farm efficiently or something. We're going to catch somebody over here. But instead, Team Freedom just moving as a full 5-man group across the map.
Yeah, that was a nice kind of next level unexpected rotation, because usually, like, if you're licking your wounds after a fight, let's say they would go to the shrine, maybe some of them would be farming their bounty camp, maybe they'd be split up and some of them would be in their jungle. That's kind of what the Dire was counting on there. Instead, that was not what happened. They all rotated immediately to that jungle as soon as they saw someone there with the ward. So I have to credit the ward vision coming out and kind of the expecting that there would be some kind of play like that from Planet Odd, and they just seemed to read it perfectly and react to it very well.
Yeah. This is looking pretty rough for Planet Odd now. I was looking during that lull, and I was like, okay, this is kind of good for Planet Odd, but this is the most dangerous part of the game, or at least one of them, with the double blinks up now for the Sand King and Earthshaker. Arlena has the kill power with the Eul Scepter and is closing in on the Bloodstone. That is the big snowballing item for the Lina. So this is very dangerous for Planet Odd. They have to be super careful with their positioning, not give away too many pickoffs like this one. Moonmander does manage to get off the Blade Mail, but it's Flea who managed to come in against that Blade Mail. He says, damn it, I don't care. I'll take that kill. And CCNC will back away peacefully.
Yeah, it's kind of a critical time, because you have the Night Stalker who just completed his Midas, and then you have the Phoenix
oh no!
As well.
Francis! The quick fingers there got the Sandstorm away from the melee ranged Stormhammer. Completely disjoints it and will manage to live a God Strength completely wasted and a positional advantage now for Freedom.
Yeah, they're going to be able to, looks like, get this top tower uncontested out of this. And when the supports enter this kind of lull for Odd, when you have, again, the Midas up on the Night Stalker and the Phoenix working on his Midas, kind of farming towards it.
Oh, what a Fissure. Now the follow-up Echo Slam onto 2. They're going to take both of these kills with the Static Storm. Team Freedom move forward with confidence. They are countering every single one of Planet Odd's moves. Take the captain, too. Take his head right off.
In the words of Grant, they're crumbling right now.
Oh, now with maybe a 4th kill? That's going to be a follow-up. Now the Enchant Totem. Bang! Snake King. The King himself has returned 15-7. 7K advantage for Team Freedom. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is just a clinic right now by Freedom in terms of rotations. Again, Odd reaching that lull, that Night Stalker in mid-game falls off a little bit without the kind of power that he has during that first night. He kind of needs items to reach that point where he's providing a mobile ward presence for your team. He hasn't reached that point yet. The Phoenix, hasn't really felt that impactful at all, other than maybe denying some early snaking kills. And beyond that, they're not really able to make plays or find tempo. For this Invoker, he's got to farm as well. He's got to scale up. He doesn't have this kind of combo spell build that you would see, maybe in terms of blowing up targets and, say, having a Clockwork into Sunstrike, anything like that. So, and then the Sven is going to want to farm too. So you basically have 4 or 5 heroes right now for Planet Odd who want to be farming and building themselves up, and Team Freedom's having none of it. They're just running straight at them.
5-man smoke up through. Flea does have an Invis rune. Perfectly timed for that. So he pops a bunch of the smokes. They don't have any counter vision, it seems. They get a fresh mid ward down. He does go for the Burrow Strike now. Misery comes in. Snaking is here to follow it up, but oh, the Stormhammer goes off before the Echo Slam. Resolution can't get his hands on any one good hero, though. The Sunray's going out in the backstocks. That does manage to get the beam onto Yawar. That's going to stop the attack speed. Meanwhile, Moonmeander does manage to get the kill onto the Disruptor at the same time. Resolution banging on Snaking. Needs some additional help from his supports to control Snaking, and he'll have it too. Another Sunray, another slow from the Night Stalker, and Planet Odd. This time, they're the ones who swarm over Team Freedom with the 5-man.
Yeah, it was nice. It's just how much of a difference it made that they were kind of able to dictate the fight on their terms. Snaking had his cooldown on Echo Slam just a little bit longer. If he'd had the Echo Slam, I think that fight could have gone quite differently. He would have been able to stun lock 2 heroes at this ramp spot right here, but instead he didn't. And a nice seizure of tempo again from Planet Odd.
Can they actually keep that control? Because Freedom's still operating on about a little over 5,000. Actually, it's just dipped down, so I guess we're waiting for this net worth chart to reset. But a 4 or 5K advantage for them. Still decent experience. And they have the right kind of heroes to control the game right now, right? It's like Lina, Lycan. Your time window is definitely around that 25-minute marker.
Yeah, and both teams have to keep an eye on the next Roshan, especially if Odd play a little bit more defensively. You see they're kind of huddled together here, farming in relative safety. Then that opens up towers and Roshan. And in terms of towers, Freedom with a nice advantage right now, so that's going to help them too. Although the vision is restricted at night with the Night Stalker, of course.
Now, I would have imagined they would have waited for BKB for the next smoke push-up, but it doesn't look like the way they're playing that they are going to. They're probably using the smoke to contest Roshan, but the Rocket Flare doesn't go for it. Dire does manage to get a scan on the heroes moving in and out of the pit. And they are going to go for this smoke now. And this Roshan pit is so hard to play around against an Invoker. If they get the right kind of Tornado EMP, it could be disaster for Team Freedom. But the Echo Slam, it's immediately laid down. They're going to be able to blow up the Invoker first things first with the Static Storm over the top. They've almost done it. Snaking will take the right click to finish him off. That Blade Mail is going to do nothing for Moonmeander, but he does manage to get the Cogs pushback on the Lycan. CCC comes in, executes Moonmeander, looks for the kill on Soxa as well with the LSA. He gets it too. Stays ahead of Resolution, who doesn't have a stun just yet. He'll be kited around by the Fisher. Resolution has nowhere to run to, and Planet Odd get trounced. They thought they were going to be the ones taking the big fight against Team Freedom inside the Roshan pit, but instead, Snaking with the fast reactions locks down the Invoker, and they have the follow-up from the Disruptor.
Yeah, huge plays there from Snaking. Like, he did so much work. First of all, starting that fight on great terms and basically preventing the Invoker and Clockwork from moving around or launching new spells with the Disruptor following up right afterwards. And then, of course, the kind of lockdown on the Sven to hold him in place, stop him from killing the Lina, and then set up the chain combo, you're not moving anywhere, stuns. And that might have been a game-clinching fight there for Team Freedom. There's still a long way to go, it looks like, but that seemed like it could be a huge turning point, and it went in their favor once again.
Yeah, Freedom, I think that was one of those, like, we solidify, we own this game now. And in Planet Odd's case, that would have been, like, the wheels come off the wagon sort of situation. If they had actually been the ones to win that fight, take Roshan for themselves, all of a sudden you're dealing with an Invoker Sven lineup with an Aegis at 25 minutes. You just feel so pressured to make use of either the time remaining after Aegis, before the Sven Invoker or before their big late game, or try and pressure into an Aegis, which is never good either.
Yeah, and a lot of the details obviously like matter here. For Yawar, his item build, you'll see a lot of Lycans go Mask of Madness Armlet. It comes online quickly, it allows you to farm quickly with sustain. Maybe gives you more Roche potential, and like you run at people a little bit faster early on, take them down faster. But he went for the Midas build. So he's got the Halberd. It takes some time, obviously, for the Midas to pay off, which he's had the early game space for. But you have the Halberd, which is great against Sven. Great for slowing him down in a team fight. And then it's going to make his progression that much faster into future items because he doesn't have to be hitting creeps. He can fight with his team.
Whoa, Static Storm laid out. Stan King, is going to be able to get him after the Icarus dive here, so CCNC should be able to pick up this kill unless somebody else is going to put a stop to it. No, Lugoda Blade goes out. They're actually going to be fighting into this one. They managed to get the kill onto Snaking, or stun onto Snaking, and it will be the kill follow-up. Francis also got a little bit low. Moon Meander tried to go. Oh, bumps back. Stan King still going to try and chase him down, while Resolution not able to get the swing there onto Flea. He doesn't have a stun. He's going to try and turn around. Finally gets the stun off now onto CCNC, but Halberd is going to be able to stop that one until a tornado. Weeha's going to stop that one with a deafening blast over the top. CCNC is going to lose his Aegis here, but they have the disarmed Lycan, still unable to do anything with a large part of his ultimate. It now wears out. They're going to finish off Resolution here, but will it be disaster for Yawar? He's fighting up against both Misery and Weeha, but with the power of CCNC behind him, it doesn't look like Weeha feels comfortable fighting this one out. In fact, if anything, Flea tries to go for that kill. Again, the Halberd coming in big time, manages to get the disarm, stopping Weeha from finishing Flea off. But Weeha, you know him. He feels the style. He wants the kills. He sees the opportunity. Not going to be able to get it here. Oh, but caught by CCNC. Quinn, he found him. Looks for the blow up. Gets a large share of the damage out there with the Dragon Slave also hitting. He hits the next LSA. CCNC has done it. He's found Weeha, taking him down 23-12 as Team Freedom now about to crack this game wide open for themselves, approaching a 10K gold lead.
From retirement to TI, the CCNC story? Is that what we're watching right now?
Hey, Jack, what's that? What's that saying about he who laughs loudest? CCNC maybe getting first into TI. Mason, who knows where DC's going to be able to follow him through.
Friendship, dedication, and love. Stan King, who's had that full-time job while still playing Dota. Could we see him at TI? Return of the King at long last. The King back to TI. I'm hyped, man. We're not that far away from this if they can hold on to this edge.
We really are. Team Odd. They're still definitely not out of this game.
Yawar versus his brother?
Yawar versus his brother is, I think, one of my favorite ones. Because I remember meeting Yawar at TI7 because I kind of knew him from before in pubs and stuff. And I could just kind of tell, like, he was happy and stuff, but he wanted to be there, you know? And he seemed to be always overshadowed by his brother. And, you know, like, it's one thing to have your brother be on a top-tier team, but when you can't even make it to TI, right? Like, that's got to eat away at you. And now he's just one game away, half a game away.
Yeah, you think at the dinner table, you know, Sumail is kind of just smirking at him, or with the parents. The parents are like, hey, your little brother won TI. You know what's going on?
Your little brother bought us the house that you live in. CCNC pops a BKB, turns around, gets the Yule Scepter off. There is a BKB for Resolution. So with his ultimate, he's going to try and finish off this tier 2 and maybe get out, but there's still a glyph, so he's actually going to just TP away. Can the rest of Odd get away? Moon Meander spotted out there. He is not making it out of here. Goes for the TP, but damage is still there. So they don't even get that tower. Denied away after the glyph protects it against Resolution's damage.
Yeah, and you can, well, you can't really feel the excitement, but you can feel the excitement. They're not that far away. They have a pretty large stranglehold on this game. Things have gone very well for them in terms of tempo and rhythm. They've read the rotation so well. CCNC has had himself a pretty good game after a rough start, actually. He's caught up very well. And, you know, this lineup, we're talking about some teams, as we're going to see, Weeha is going to get his TP canceled.
Yeah, that's the Echo Slam too. They actually have the Epicenter coming in as well to finish him off. Big time kill. That's 50 seconds. Can they actually go for the high ground here? Well, CCNC certainly thinks so. He's already pecking away at it. Tier 3, they don't even need the racks. If they can just get the Tier 3 and open up shrines, that would be such a big map control. Team Freedom, they pop the Howl. That Howl so much. Team Planet Odd, they feel the pressure. They have to go in here. They have to keep their Tier 3 alive. Moon Meander's jumped onto CCNC, but unable to finish him off by himself, and now he's actually going to die. His initiation cost him his life. And it may just cost Resolution something too. So he still has his BKB, holding off on using it. He needs a clean initiation here, but he's actually going to lose his life here. He gets brought back the glimpse. He didn't expect that one at all. Planet Odd, one by one, are losing their heroes and maybe just losing their spot into that first place opportunity. The tier 3 tower dropping fast. It's now gone. Soxa's been caught up. He's not going to be able to get out of this one. There's no opportunity for him to use the Supernova, and nothing from Planet Odd to stop this rampage from Team Freedom, unless Weehaw can do something big here. He's fighting into UR, getting him a little bit low. They have the Supernova. Can they eat it up real quickly? The egg is going to be scrambled up for breakfast for Team Freedom. They take that one down. Now the follow-up stuns on a Misery. Good deafening blast, but Weehaw, ultimately, you're not going to be able to stop this one. It's only him and Moon Meander standing. This mid lane of Rax is gone. Team Freedom have taken it, and they can take the Shrines too on their way back.
25 Bloodstone charges up now on that Lena. It feels like she could very well die to heal her team for the next round of fights and get back in there instantly with those charges. What an impressive performance so far for Team Freedom. One of the things I like about their lineup is, this is a concept that I've heard a newbie and some other teams kind of mention and talk about. Picking heroes that maybe don't have as high a rate of margin for error, in the sense that when you have all these stuns, it makes things easier to chain things together, to be able to burst down single targets. It's a little bit less difficult of a lineup to play. It feels like Odd have a lot less margin for error. They have to find these smaller margins to get things done.
If Freedom win over Planet Odd and NP wins over DC. Oh, I thought because of the head-to-head matchup, it didn't matter.
Yeah, so if that's the case, Grant was right, because
Grant was right. Jack, you doubted him.
We were left in the dust.
Listen, I had no horse in that race. That's not on me. So, Team Freedom, I don't know what's happening in the NP DC game. But if they do actually win it, we will have a tiebreaker. I thought because of the head-to-head that it did not matter. Incorrect. Either way, this is still hype as hell, and the game's not over yet. Moon Meander, oh, gonna be caught. Blade Mail out though, so at least he can do a lot of damage back. They're gonna be caught in the Static Storm. Laguna Blade still not enough, but they do have the Glimpse. It's using a lot just to be able to kill that Initiator though, and Resolution's gone for the back line. He's actually going for Stand King. He needs to be able to kill more. Oh, he got Flea with a big hit. Comes out, now looks for CNC, and he really wants this kill badly. It's worth so much, but the BKB's worn out. Zinking, he thought that was his time to turn around, but he actually gets cold snapped up, doesn't get anything off. CNC dies as well. No Bloodstone Suicide. That's big. That is 1,200 gold that went to, well, Phoenix of all heroes, but 1,200 gold picked up instead of the Bloodstone Suicide that could have denied all of that.
Yeah, that's a pretty large kill right there. And in fact, if he actually dies earlier in that fight, potentially his teammates get a second burst of wind that allows them to maybe disengage, if not continue the fight further. So that is a huge kill there. We didn't want to, you know, jump the horses over there with pronouncing them, and a nice fight coming out from Planet Odd to keep this game still in the balance.
Yeah, this is a huge swing for them if they can actually get this Aegis as well, but it's looking tough. Team Freedom do have such short death timers, well, most notably on CCNC, but it looks like the rest of the team is coming up fast too. So Planet Odd won't be able to get that freebie, but they will at least have the opportunity to contest Roshan, whereas before, I think with the way that Team Freedom were actually controlling the map, it would have been very unlikely for Planet Odd to actually get a contest of the Roche Pit, and they would have had to play high ground against Aegis and Cheese.
Yeah, that was and that was kind of one of those situations that you would need for Planet Odd, where there's like a commitment of multiple big spells onto one target. In this case, the Clockwork. It's not even the Sven or the Invoker, and then they feel safe to come back in and take a fight after that. So I think Freedom take a step back. They stick with what's been working, try to secure this next Roshan, which gives them a little bit more leeway and margin for error, and then stick to taking the good fights that they have been.
Man, look how much vision is being granted, by the way. Yawar's been doing this a lot, but I really want to showcase it right here. He's been following both Weehaw and Moon Meander. Those are obviously, you've got your Initiator and then you've got your big Playmaker. He's been getting vision of them constantly. The smoke up. Smoke is going to be popped here by Team Freedom. They get the Static Storm. That's on Asaxa. That's a big one, but he barely gets out, but can't get the Supernova off. He was still stuck by the Sticky of the Silence. And Team Odd, Planet Odd, not able to get their return kill that they were searching for. A lot of ultimates were blown, though. This Lycan His shapeshift being used there. No, missed the Fisher, but do manage to get the Burrow Strike. The follow-up onto Misery, not able to be there. The follow-up, Moonmander goes for Yawar. Is going to be able to stop a little bit of damage. Sand King almost goes down. They're actually going to be able to get a really big Meteor Blast onto Sand King. Oh, Resolution hits the creeps to be able to get the cleave to finish off the Disruptor. The cores are still alive, though, from Team Freedom, and they bought back on Flea. They really want to secure this Roshan. But they do have a shrine up on the right-hand side for Planet Odd, so it looks like they're still looking to be able to contest this play as well.
Yeah, and the good thing for them is that because that Phoenix died before getting off his ult, he's going to have Egg when he comes back to the shrines into this fight. Resolution isn't going to have his, though, so that's kind of important. Clockwork is going to have his up in 15 seconds. So.
I think God Strength is more important than Shapeshift, right? Oh, Shapeshift up. Never mind. So that is a pretty big loss for Planet Odd, even if they do get the Phoenix back up and in this fight.
Yeah, and Snaking's got to be careful now. He doesn't have a BKB, so if the initiation comes in and the Sven manages to get the Orchid off, there won't be that counter stun from Snaking.
Ooh, jump on to the Sven here. Nightstalker trying to pursue. Roshan just about to drop here. Double BKBs being popped by Team Freedom, so no opportunity for a snatch here from Planet Odd. But it looks like they just caught Saksa again. He's forcing the immediate Supernova. Deafening Blast goes out. Oh my god, is that actually going to live because of that one? It does! It explodes, and now Planet Odd, they may have just found their fight after the Roshan has been taken. They get the Echo Slam onto Misery. Follow up Sunray. They're chasing Snake King down. Resolution battling CCNC in the pit. This is a big kill if he can get it, and he's got him. He managed to take down the Aegis, and now the turn. They've got the Ice Wall. They've got the Cogs locked down. He's immediately going to be controlled up. Little opportunity for him to be able to get out. He's got the BKB. He's got the Bloodstone. He'll use the Bloodstone Suicide to prevent that kill from going over to Planet Odd, but still 5 down. 6 if you want to count that Aegis. What a beautiful play from Weehaw to be able to get that Deafening Blast over that Supernova, that Egg.
That Supernova save is the biggest play that I have seen, the biggest single play that I've seen so far this qualifiers. The lengths they had to go to save that Phoenix, they had the Clockwork come in with the Cogs to push them away, and they had the Deafening Blast, as you mentioned, to stop them. If either of those don't connect perfectly, the Egg dies and they lose that fight.
An early buyback forced, as they, again, just like we saw Planet Odd trying to make efforts to protect the tier 3. They don't want to lose it either, but it doesn't matter. The Alacrity on the Siege Creep actually manages to take it anyway. So Shrines unlocked. They got to go for the one next to Roshan first. I feel like that's probably the more important one. While Misery, with his clear vision, feels comfortable taking a couple swipes at the one on the west-hand side.
Still, what a play there coming out. That fight is going to end up giving Planet Odd vision. I mentioned the Midases, the experience coming in. Here's the Nightstalker online with the Aghanim Scepter and the BKB. Wow. And then the Phoenix has his Shiva's Guard off that fight. They're both level 20 as well, so they're deeper in their talents than the supports are for Team Freedom. And then Sven, obviously, his item progression with these constant successful fights, the momentum has been building. He's got a full Bloodthorn finish now. And,
Holy crap.
It becomes that much harder to fight. Like, those two fights, just basically, that's how little margin for error there was. Weehaw is about to finish up his BKB as well. Then all of a sudden, the stun combos and lockdown doesn't look nearly as good for Team Freedom when you have the BKBs to disrupt it and the Nightstalker vision to see where they are.
Would you say, Jack, that despite the mid lane of Rax being gone for Planet Odd, that it's Planet Odd who are the ones, oh, hold that thought, they're going to try and jump on a CCC, good use of the Force Staff, he gets off the BKB, self-Yule Scepter, but he's still stuck in a crouch, he does manage to get another Force Staff down, Echo Slam, controlling up Resolution, they get the LSA, follow up Laguna Blade, it's close, they may be able to finish him off with the Burrow Strike, and now the Static Storm is also going to be able to control up Saksa. Everything is crumbling now for Planet Odd as a team fight goes against them right after they won the big one. They're going to be able to get Moon Meander as well off of that glimpse. Planet Odd, no buybacks there. No buybacks from any of their heroes. A tier 2 is up protecting a bottom lane push, and they're the top lane hero, the creeps are pretty far out there. So Planet Odd may not lose a full lane of Rax. I think they actually are.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough time. You see Misery just desperately pushing out that top lane, but it's not going to matter because they can go into the bottom. As soon as we start to speak well of one team, Cap, the caster curse in full effect. Well, here's one of the other points for them. Like, the Invoker has a hard time dealing damage unless the Sven is absorbing damage.
Oh, they caught Weehaw! He wasn't sitting far enough back, and Team Freedom make the long-term play. They jump really deep into the base, and they find that kill. Now, he does have buyback. So he's going to try and do his tornado things and all that jazz, but they're going to try and catch him again. They did! Flea! He managed to get him. Moonmeander's going to be able to interrupt that one. A beautiful set of cogs actually controls up UR inside of that one. They break free of the cogs. They finish off Weehaw a second time. He's down for a minute and a half.
Wow.
And Team Freedom may just be able to close this game up. Meanwhile, on top lane, Misery's doing whatever the hell he can, trying to take a lane of Rax. We are going to have a fight here. Saksa. He's got the Shivas. All these heroes are low. If he can actually get a successful Supernova Explosion, they might just be able to win this. But Moonmeander doesn't have the hookshot follow-up, so there's nothing to actually control Team Freedom there. Resolution's coming in from the back. He's got an opportunity to make a big play, but he gets Dual Scepter first. He doesn't get the initiation he was looking for. Looks like all they're going to be able to get out of that one is snaking. Meanwhile, top lane was taken by Misery. So it actually ends up being somewhat of an even trade from an objectives point of view, which is we had bottom lane for top lane, set of racks being taken. Obviously the extra towers of Team Freedom, but it's Planet Odd lacking buybacks for the next 5 to 7 minutes that is really going to hurt them.
You know, Cap, you know when like you were doing math in grade school and you got these like simple equations and like one side equals another and it's like really simple, but then later on you start getting the harder like algebra ones where one side equals the other? I feel like that's what we saw there. It wasn't like the simple trade you were talking about. It's kind of weird with Misery taking the Raxes.
He's going to be caught here in the mid lane. They don't quite have the heroes to follow this one up. Did CCNC go too early? No, he didn't. He's got the physical damage to be able to follow that kill up. He does have buyback on Resolution, though. He didn't have it last time. He's got it now, and Team Freedom are going to force it out of him.
What a back and forth game this is that we're watching.
Planet Odd need to start respecting this initiation range of Team Freedom.
Yeah, they're like Wei is standing. Wait, if he's standing a full screen behind the his tier 3 tower, that's still way too close. It still puts him in range of the Earthshaker and the follow-up stuff.
UR pops the ultimate. He's going to go through the mid lane because they've caught Saksa. They know how important the Supernova is. Even if he doesn't have it yet, he'll have it soon. He's going to be pulled back by the glimpse. Moonmeander managed to get UR underneath the tier 4 towers. Meanwhile, Resolution has come in. They've got CCNC. The Glimmer Cape is out. Do they have the vision to be able to catch him? No, the tornado misses. And CCNC makes his grand escape. They're going to get a support kill, but it doesn't matter. They needed something bigger, something grander for all of that. Those buybacks used, they're still going to push out. Snaking's here. He's got an invisibility. They certainly don't expect that one. They jump in, go for Flea, but there's the control from Snaking. Immediately trying to blow up Resolution, but he gets off the BKB. They didn't have the control to follow up. Yoar's, he's stuck inside the pit, pops the cheese. Misery's going to go down, but it's Yoar who's in serious trouble. There goes the Supernova. He turns, tries to kill it, can't get it. Neither can the Lina. It's going to explode in a second. No, CCNC got out the last half second, but doesn't cost him his life. Deafening Blast, Sunstrike doesn't land. It would have killed him for sure, but he's away. A rocket lands, no follow-up from Moonmeander, and Planet Odd not able to get the big-time kill. CCNC, that would have been so good for them if they'd gotten Lycan and the Lina in that fight, but instead barely miss out in just a few small interactions. The Supernova explodes, they get the kill. If the Sunstrike lands, they get the kill. So many small things in these team fights that just make the fight go one way or the other.
This game is a heart stopper.
Oh, and he's going to be caught again? Oh, no counter vision.
This game is an absolute heart stopper, just end-to-end action, and I like what Yawar did in that fight. He kind of just walked around a little bit. Like, it's kind of weird seeing a Lycan just walk around, not in wolf form, but he wanted to be able to absorb some spells because he had that cheese. And then Planet Odd knew this, and they didn't initially focus on trying to bring him down at all. They tried to fight the other heroes. They just narrowly missed out on killing CCNC as he was just out of reach of that final deafening blast that would almost certainly have ended his life.
41 to 25, 45 minutes in. It is a little bit over a 10K gold lead for Freedom, right there at the 10K experience marker. But this game is, I wouldn't say practically even. It's a little bit more like 60-40 to Team Freedom. But there is certainly plenty of opportunities for Planet Odd to be able to close this game out rather rapidly, seeing as we don't have buyback on some of these heroes. One team fight is really all it takes at this point in time. It's just all about the initiation.
This game defies the numbers, Cap. I'm not even going to try to put a number on this. The back and forth that we've seen, each time one side makes a big play and it seems like they're about to take the game, the other side steps up.
Oh, they got the scan. Oh, Flea. He doesn't manage to blink up the cliff. If he had blinked up the cliff, maybe gotten a 4-staff burrow, he might have caught Misery's Night Stalker.
And that would be the gem as well, so that's pretty important for them at this point. And Odd are smoked up, so they're looking for a window here. They know exactly where Freedom are. Are they going to get a clean initiation? Misery, the only one kind of showing here since he wasn't in the smoke. He's trying to scout Freedom out right now, but...
How do they possibly get an initiation into that high ground area, though? It's pretty tough. We'll see CNC. He's actually kind of in low ground right now. He's coming forward. They actually see him here on the side. Resolution making his initiation with alacrity. He goes in. God Strength being used. No real stuns going out. Supernova is actually laid down, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get on top of it. Instead, they're just going to be able to get the Sand King and stay out of that Static Storm. Bump back there. Moon Meander keeping some of the rest of Freedom away from Planet Odd while they finish off that Sand King. But again, just a support hero, a big one, maybe CNC. Oh, he could get gobbled up here with a big time crit. He goes down to half HP, but now Resolution. He's caught inside the kinetic field. The follow-up, Snaking. He goes straight for him. There's the Sunbright. Deafening Blast pushes back Snaking. He gets a Force Staff away from all that damage, but Weehaw wants it. He's going to go for it, claims that kill. CNC. He goes for Moon Meander with the cogs onto Yawar. He's left to exposed, totally up to Resolution, who actually chooses not to fight that one as he gets disarmed up. Snaking comes in, helps out his buddy from Yawar. Weehaw, meanwhile, doing a wizard duel with CNC, who's currently losing, turns his back, managed to get Yawar. Here's a couple of right clicks, goes in, one more, he needs it, the high ground miss, no, he evades! Weehaw can't get it, Tornado misses, and now Yawar's got the ultimate plus the Shrine. CNC is also going to be able to hit from that one, so Planet Odd escape exit through the right-hand side, but Yawar's going to throw out the chase. He doesn't give a damn about the ice wall, neither does the Glimpse. They're going to be able to pull back Saksa into his ultimate doom, but Yawar, he died so quickly. Resolution and Weehaw are able to turn onto him, blow him up real quickly with the Bloodthorn, and they've taken him down. He's immediately going to go for the buyback here. What does he plan to do with this? Is this all about Roshan?
I mean, Roche is about to be up here, so he's going to count on being able to get that. If they see that Roche isn't up and they decide not to wait for it, they can maybe force out another round of buybacks and then go for Roche. But these fights, Cap, there are so many split-second little plays happening in the rounds of these fights that are so entertaining. It really feels like it's one or two swipes away from just ending it.
It looks like Team Freedom want to end it. They're not even waiting for Roshan. They're not even sitting out in the pit. They're moving forward. They must know some of these heroes don't have buyback. They know the Night Stalker doesn't, as well as the Phoenix. They know how important the Phoenix is to this team fight. Planet Odd, can they pull out the miracle here? Can they win this fight 3 versus 5 inside of their own base? It's all about Resolution and what kind of damage he can get out. Yawar instantly pops a BKB, no hammer stun. In the left-hand side, they do manage to get a really good hook shot that controls up to and locks Yawar inside the pit, but it gets out so quickly, and Moon Meander is left to the devices of CNC, who pecks away at him. No evasion, but what a Sunstrike hit on Yawar. That kills the push. Planet Odd, they've done it. They've survived for another day, but that's all it is. You can't call it a win. You can only call it surviving.
Yeah, and that survived. Lycan down for over 100 seconds right now, so if they want to contest this Roshan, they have a window to do so. If they want to push, they certainly can as well. But one thing I want to point out, one of the many minor details that have determined these fights, I feel like CNC might be better off with all these charges just taking one for the team in some of these fights. If you look at Yawar being on super low health, about to be blown up, enabling Yawar to go back in and fight, enabling his teammates.
Team Freedom, they're barely going to be able to get the Aegis and Cheese, but now they need to escape. That extra life doesn't mean a damn if Planet Odd actually catch these heroes. Looks like CNC has completed his TP. He's away. Flee, he's got the mobility here. Burrow Strike, but is going to be caught. And he's done. Sunstrike, a little bit more. Pops the Cheese. Actually gets silenced up, though. They could still pursue, but Misery. Maybe he got too far. CNC actually will protect Flee from any pursuit. Planet Odd, they've got 50 seconds left with no buyback on the Lycan. Remember, he popped that one in the last fight as they Team Freedom push forward. What can Planet Odd do with this, what is a rather small window?
They've got to keep the lanes pushed out and look for an opportunity here. I think, I doubt they'll be able to get the fight that they want before Lycan comes back to life, just because I don't think Team Freedom is going to need to venture out for any reason to do that. So
yeah, you could see Resolution, just like Team Freedom were doing, like looking for the really deep jump while there's a numbers advantage. But instead, it's looking to just be a tier 2.
Yeah, this tier 2 is not important enough for them to basically reach their necks out and defend it.
Planet Odd still have 10 more seconds, but this is definitely going to be a fight with the Lycan, so you really want to take that against an Aegis with no buyback. Resolution is actually going to be able to have it, and so is Saksa. Misery is just 1 minute away. So pretty much all of them will have buyback if they can get the gold here in the next minute or two.
Yeah, we see a late kind of Echo Saber pickup here by Resolution as well. Like he needs to save for buyback, so he can't go for the Lincolns immediately. It's interesting. Usually you see Svens will get this item earlier, but in this case, there's been so many fights where it really feels like he's like one swipe away.
Yes.
Also, one other thing for Team Freedom I've noticed is this is one thing. Usually cores, when you go deep in and try to cut the backlines, the core is going to be 5 or 6 slotted. He's not going to carry detection. So like Glimmer Cape has been doing absolute work on the backlines because Rezo is not going to carry his own form of detection when he's going back there, and then they can't see the target, so he doesn't get to swing at anything. That's determined basically a few fights in favor of Freedom already.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think, would you say he should have gone the Echo Saber from the beginning? Obviously, it's, you know, hindsight, 2020. We're looking back at it, but
I think if the game was going a bit smoother, you'd see it. But
yeah.
he had such a rough start, right? The team did in general, and so he was like, I need my BKB like of great urgency, or we're just gonna lose this game before I even get to it.
And
so
then
he
he
didn't
felt
really have
like,
a
you
chance
know,
to.
I've got to have this Bloodthorn. It's my big damage dealer as well as a controlling item.
Right. It stops Alina. It stops Earthshaker.
Yeah.
Like, it's so disruptive. Yeah. So it's kind of out of a necessity. He's going back almost for a non-luxury item, which is kind of weird to think about.
Team Freedom squaring up here for their, could be their final push if it succeeds. There is a 4-man smoke though. Team Freedom, they smoked up with all 5 of them. They sent Weehaw and Saksa back to be able to defend this tower. And Freedom are playing it super safe. They take that tier 3, they back themselves away. They have the Aegis on the Lina, so... Who did they have the Aegis on? I thought they picked it up and got away. Maybe it faded. I actually don't remember. Saksa slowing him down, does manage to get the Shivas with the Supernova out, but he's really far forward. The hook shot, but it's the CC&C on the back line, so so much attack speed. Does manage to finish it up. Resolution jumps forward, does manage to get a kill onto 1, kill onto 2. There's the Aegis. It's actually on Snaking. Yoar, he's stuck inside the cogs, and he's having to be dealt with Weehaw, but the right clicks, the disarm, and now Snaking's back. He's bigger than ever, and he managed to get the huge amount of damage onto Weehaw, and CC&C can finish it off, but he just doesn't have the vision. The BKB runaway. Maybe he can catch Misery. His right clicks are doing so much. Misery goes down. That's the gem. Flea, can he catch Resolution? He's throwing back to base. They do have Shrines activated. And they're going to buy back on Saksa, but they do not have a Supernova. He's just a big old Shivas and Sunray at this point in time. And they don't have Misery either.
Yoar is still alive. The lack of vision is going to be an issue for them. I like what they did. They tried to wrap around and start the fight from the side with a bit of a flank, but Team Freedom were ready for that maneuver.
Yeah, they played on this high ground area, right? They played on this left side. Oh, there's the jump in. They go for CC&C. Resolution unable to finish him off, though. The Cogs, another great jump in from Moonmeander that catches multiple heroes, but again, he's kind of stuck. He does manage to get the Force Staff out. You are stuck inside the Cogs, taking a lot of damage here. The BKB wears out. Deafening Blast, unable to hit. The stun's going to be too far away, so Resolution turns the hit on Snaking instead, but he's taking so much damage from CC&C with the glimpse back. He's in so much trouble. Where's the team? Can they actually help him out here? They can't. He's going to be forced into a buyback too. A jump forward on Saksa. Actually gets the control. Laguna Blade with a little bit extra damage on Force Staff. A couple last shots. 1 hit, but not the other. The crit was good, but it wasn't enough. Not enough to finish him off anyway. Sunstrike lands on CC&C, it looks like, but he is still good as well. The last lane of Rax's stays alive. Again, Planet Odd. They're not winning. They're only surviving at this point.
Yeah, the margin of survival gets thinner and thinner as buildings continue to disappear for them. But, I mean, they have made the most out of some of these fights. I think the position that they're in. And it's a bit hard. It's been a very tough shell to crack here for Team Freedom.
This was the kind of shell that I expected for Planet Odd to be. I expected them to be able to play this game for a really long time, but they just got cracked open so early. That mid lane of Rax, and then we had that nasty team fight that turned to the bottom lane push where pickoff after pickoff. Is some of those mistakes, especially the pickoff after pickoff. If those don't happen, you know, Planet Odd could have been in such a... But then we could also say the same about Team Freedom, right? They had one of those huge leads that you look at and just say you're going to close out the game, and they lost a huge fight around that Roshan pit. And now it all comes back to that last team fight, which could be right here. Snaking, lining up, pop on the smoke. Moonmeander gets to his high ground.
Yuar's going to pop the ultimate. There goes Snaking. Blind jump in. Does manage to get a pretty good hold. And Saksa is going to be controlled up by the Static Storm. He may not be able to get out of this one in time for the super. No, but he gets it off just barely. CCNC, he has to focus that one down. He's going to be able to get it too, but CCNC has laid all his time on that one. They don't have any vision. CCNC is getting away for a Glimmer's Cape. For God's sake, Planet Odd. They don't have the damage. They don't have the counter vision to be able to see him. And CCNC gets away. They've taken the one kill. They lay down a ward. Immediately it's taken away. They know Team Freedom. They've got the numbers advantage, but it's still tough to be able to break into this high ground area. So they're trying to get the vision, see what's happening. Glimpse back. Resolution going to be caught here. They need to be able to stop this one. The double stun. Here comes a Meteor Blast. It's big time, but more important, can they actually get Resolution with CCNC's damage? They can. They're stuck up on the high ground, so Planet Odd are able to hold the high ground here. And again, Team Freedom are going to have to think of something else on the way back. Planet Odd now try and get down. Flea with the bots too, goes for the wolf. Nice play from Misery, actually sees that opportunity. Can he get over the cliff here? The jump forward, they're going to be able to get at least the disruptor. Meanwhile, CCNC is gone for the objectives. He's taking a melee Rex. He's taking the range Rex. That is now Megas. A tornado whiffs, and Planet Odd failed to be able to get a core kill out of what is now a Mega Creeps they're faced up against.
Another really heads-up play from CCNC. Once again, you saw the Glimmer Cape doing work there. You saw the Force Staffs and Hurricane Pikes being used effectively by both teams. Planet Odd, once they realized the jig was up, they turned around and managed to get away from the initial initiation. What a ballsy jump onto the high ground by Snaking, who's been making huge plays all game to deliver that Echo Slam and start the fight off for them. And then even then, they had to avoid fighting into this bottleneck for Planet Odd, which Planet Odd would be able to take very well. And then, of course, the buybacks, and then CCNC with a huge heads-up play of deciding to go top, get away from the fight with mobility, and then finish off the Raxes.
All right, Jack, I'm going to leave it to you. What does Planet Odd do here? Do they hold against this Raxes situation, or do they push into Team Freedom, right? Because it's the all-in maneuver. They don't have buyback. They know probably that some of Team Freedom don't have their buyback, the Disruptor, Earthshaker, and Sand King for sure. We happen to know that Lina doesn't have a buyback either due to gold. Do you go for that all-in scenario, or do you play for the survival game up against Megas and wait for Team Freedom to make a critical mistake?
I don't think you can play the survival game any longer. Depending on lineup, that would make a difference, as you see CCNC up now with a Scotty. So this could be crucial as well, because if he dies here, he doesn't have buyback. I think he sold his Bloodstone for that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's crucial, because there are 27 charges on that Bloodstone. So if you have buyback and that Bloodstone, it's basically 3 lives that you have to get through. Right now, it's only 1. So this is kind of an all or nothing. They know that the all or nothing is coming, but they respond with their own. I'm not too sure about this for CCNC. If he comes back and he dies in this fight, this could haunt them for the rest of the qualifier at least.
Team Freedom looking at a potential run into
And we've got the Rapier, so they're going all in.
Time to go. Weehaw. Oh, or maybe not time to go. Resolution actually TP's that close. Fortunately, he doesn't get hit by the Fisher.
But they're ready. They're staying here. They're not all going back. They're going to be like, okay, Rezo's gone. Maybe we have a chance. Oh, no. I thought they were going to try to set up.
I was about to say, how are they going to do that, though? They don't have any recall mechanism. Sven.
Man, that was so risky from Planet Odd. I can't believe, like, Sand King, Disruptor, Earthshaker, like, they have so many ways to catch that they just straight up bold-face TP away by Resolution, and they don't get caught by anything. That was a risk that I don't know if Planet Odd really needs to take.
Yeah, but I mean, everything's kind of a risk at this point, right? You've got the Rapier up on Weehaw. Like, the next fight is going to determine things. They're desperately trying to push out waves so they can get this fight, but here's the thing. If they allow this chance to reset, I'm not sure if they'll get that opportunity. Their Mega Creeps, once again, headed straight into the base right now.
Clockwork. He's poking his hat out. He sees some of this with a Rocket Flare. He does see the Earthshaker. He's going to get the illusions here and put one inside the Roshan pit. Does verify Roshan is indeed up. And that would be...
Once again, he sold his Bloodstone. He's 900 gold short of buyback. And they're not really going to get too many lane creeps to farm for the most part, because their Megas will take care of it. So
he needs that Aegis, right?
Or he needs to not die in this fight, because they could very well lose because of that. And that would be... I feel like that would be a colossal tier of throw, going from a 27 charge Bloodstone with thousands of gold for buyback to potentially not having it.
Just like our last NA game that we cast together, Jack. There's random riches on the ground. Just a gem casually chilling out by the Dire base.
Nobody's got time for such trifles in a game like this, Cap.
That's true.
Screw the gold, give me the glory. That's what both these teams are currently playing for. 49-34. We're approaching the hour marker here. It is actually Planet Odd with the gold lead, but just like Jack said, screw the metrics. This game, it's still a bit of an uphill battle for Planet Odd. Ooh, a sneak into the Roshan pit, but Moonmander's going to be able to spot it out with the Rocket Flare. Still, doesn't matter. CCNC keeps on going for it. UR's actually going to preemptively pop this shapeshift to go in to the Roshan pit to try and finish the one up. Planet Odd, they need to go in soon if they want to be able to intercept this one. Moonmander sees it. Can he jack this one? He throws out the hook shot, but it's blocked by the Wolf. It's going to be eaten up. Aegis is taken. Now it's the Egg on the outside, but immediately Team Freedom just full on disengaged. They're going to be able to catch Snake King out of this one, it looks like. He pops his BKB. They keep the damage on him, though, trying to get a little bit of an escape. Fisher down, but it's just not going to happen. He does get taken down, and he does not have buyback. And they know this too. Planet On knows this. If they kept the timer, he does not have buyback for another 2.5 minutes. So despite the Aegis, despite the cheese, this may be the best opportunity for Planet Odd to go and fight Team Freedom for this game.
It absolutely is. To be in this position at this point, you know, if the Lycan has the Aegis, it kind of doesn't matter if he doesn't have Shapeshift up, right? Like, what does that Aegis do for you? He's kind of just dead meat after that, and you can't really man-fight too well right now anyway. And CCNC is a major source of their damage. I believe he does have the gold. He should have the gold up now. No, still 700 gold short of buyback for CCNC. So he's got better fighting items. He's got the I have Scotty now and the data list instead of the Bloodstone.
I almost want to tell Francis Flea just to be able to give him the cheese. Give CCNC the cheese and let him sell it.
Exactly. Or give him the cheese to hold. I mean,
yeah, that too. This is random Clarity, man. 60 minutes in. I know Clarities are OP. They're not that OP, though.
It's taking Odd a bit of time, though, to get these waves pushed up. But they're going to still have about a minute or so to go down this mid lane together. And they're not worried about the Blink Echo, obviously. And, you know, if you're Lina, you're not going to initiate into this, right? Because you don't have buyback. If you're Disruptor, even, you'll be afraid of just being cleaved down. So that Earthshaker not being there is a pretty big part of this. Rezo is going to clear one more wave bottom before coming over to join his team. So he's going to have about 20 to 30 seconds in which they can inflict some damage here.
All of a sudden, this map just got so dark for Team Freedom. And it's Planet Odd with a whole lot of vision of these heroes. This is the big advantage of Misery's heroes in the late game, right? This Night Stalker being able to scout out the heroes in the backline thanks to the clear vision. They're going to make their jump, but Weehaw jumps first. A step back with a Blink Dagger, now the jump forward. Moonmeander goes for CCNC with a BKB activated. Moonmeander can't actually get out of this one. The Force Staff is disabled by the kinetic field, so he is left to Team Freedom, pecking away at him. Planet Odd actually go for objectives here with a jump in. Looks like a Supernova being used out there on the top side, but it's not really where it's important. It's UR that's important. He's going to die here. He's going to be taken out by Weehaw. That is just the Aegis, though. The LSA misses out. BKB used. Resolution. He can't get away. He dies too much. Physical damage comes out. Fisher misses. Misery trying to make his grand escape from Team Freedom. They're going to pursue with both the Sand King as well as the Earthshaker, while the buyback comes out from Resolution to defend against the top lane. They took away the Aegis, but that's really all they took away from Team Freedom.
Yeah, I kind of like the plan.
Oh, he's going to get him. Saksa on the money, CCNC, on the money. He knew exactly where he was headed.
Well, now he's got buyback. Couple more heads on the table there for CZNC, and I like what Odd did. Like, they didn't want to fight at this bottleneck even with the Earthshaker down. They kind of went for a bit of a split push, but ultimately several of their heroes just got gunned down by CCNC.
And now they're the ones left with 0 buybacks. Team Freedom have all of theirs. Misery's going to put himself on the front lines. He doesn't have buyback, but he may be the least important hero for this engagement. The BKB already popped by CNCC could be big. Resolution's opportunity, but they actually put the disarm. They're going to go straight for these tier 4s. On the right-hand side, they're controlling up Weehaw. Supernova goes out, but Resolution dies. CCC is too big, too bad, too strong. He's taking down the tier 4s, and Planet Odd are crumbling under the weight of Team Freedom, making their way to a potential slot to TI. It all comes down to whether or not NP have a win over TC, and if so, we'll have that tiebreaker. But Team Freedom have done everything in their power to give themselves a place in Seattle.
Yeah, they've done what they can. What a great group stage run for them, as you mentioned. These guys, either overlooked or trying to return to glory, and they do manage to finish 8-1 atop the group stage. So now, I believe they have to. Well, we're being told that they have to wait on results for NP, who are also one loss, even though they won the head-to-head against NP. So if they do still have to play a tiebreaker, that is the only team that could force them into it. NP up against DC next will determine the fate of this qualifier.
I do not see the results of NP and DC. So that might be next. Yeah, I think that's next, and then we go into a potential tiebreaker if that happens, or Freedom has just made it to Seattle. One or the other. Either way, Planet Odds' hope for first place in their group stage is over. They've lost. No three-way tie for them. If they had won this, they would have had an opportunity for a three-way tie, but no such luck. Either way, I am so impressed by Team Freedom. I mean, consider this. The one game that they lost in this whole entire group stage, they beat all the big dogs. They just beat Planet Odd in this 63-minute game. They've already beat NP and DC. They only have lost to Red. Team Red
What are
are
you
the
doing,
ones
Franz?
who took a game.
What are you doing, man?
Franz just...
Leviathan and Franz, come on, man.
Yeah. A fellow veggie may have just stopped CCNC from a guaranteed Seattle placing, but we'll have to see. We're going to be back, guys. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with DCNP, which will determine who's going to be first in the groups or if we have a tiebreaker. Don't go anywhere.
What a game.